Today in Abaco, Bahamas, is the 14th day of August 2020. Less than 2 weeks, we will celebrate with sadness the first anniversary of the most deadliest hurricane in the history of the Caribbean and indeed the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. With this celebration, we'll also note that we have the worst Prime Minister in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. His legacy will go down in history as one of the most corrupt Prime Minister in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And Bahamian people did not picket, hit to the street. Today, the 14th of August 2020, 11 months and 14 days that we, the people in Dundas Town, Marshall, Murphytown, still without electricity. Then the Prime Minister has destroyed the economy of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas because he likes this game of power with his dictatorial style attitude, shut down, lock up without any merit. But in Abaco, we saw where they locked down Bimini, a whole island, because of the amount of COVID-19 that were on Bimini. And in Bimini, the seriousness of the lockdown was severe that the government decided to feed the people 3 meals a day. You couldn't come at your house for 14 days. I reported when the Mexicans came into the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and indeed Abaco, that these people will bring COVID-19 to Abaco. There was no COVID-19 in Abaco. Lo and behold, we found out that there was 9 COVID-19 on Baker's Bay. The government of the Bahamas is so corrupt when it comes to Baker's Bay, with the dealing of the government and this corrupt company of Baker's Bay, that they refuse to tell the Bahamas and the world that the first set of COVID-19 in Abaco was by Mexicans on Baker's Bay. Everybody that works on Baker's Bay, including the government and the management of Baker's Bay, they know that the one that they first found out to have COVID-19, he was living in a houseboat or barge where they housed over 80 Mexicans that were eating, sleeping, showering together. So if he had it for 2 weeks in the air with the air condition blowing, it is already out of control in Baker's Bay. So the government of the Bahamas knew that and know this, and they will shut the whole country down. Want to do contact tracing from people that came from Florida from June, and watch the unwiseness in the corruption of this F&M government and this Prime Minister that accepted $25 million, him and Brent Simonet, by accepting a deal, sitting at the table, self-dealing themselves while he's the Prime Minister, and Brent Simonet, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. They took a contract of 25 million from Bakers Bay. That is why the ferry continues to run. So world, Bahamas, Abaco, if the government of the Bahamas knew that there is 9 COVID-19 positive on Bakers Bay, shouldn't they have shut that down? It's a wasp nest. So this is what they did for the last 3 weeks. They know that they have a lot of Mexicans over there quarantined in trailers. So why let 150 Bahamian workers go on the ferry every morning into the wasp nests of the Mexicans that have COVID-19? Have the government of the Bahamas done contact tracing on the workers that works among these Mexicans in Bakers Bay? No. So you see how the escalation gonna ruin Abaco. We thought Hurricane Dorian was bad, but there's another hurricane in the midst called Dr. Hubert Minnis and the cabinet, the FNM cabinet of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. They are breeding COVID-19 through Abaco from Bakers Bay because Dr. Livingston Marshall and the most honorable Prime Minister, a gynecologist turned Prime Minister, Dr. Hubert Minnis, sat down at the table along with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Don't leave Darren out, because Darren had to negotiate this. But the thing about it, it's the only meeting that Darren sat down with us in the Friendship Tabernacle Church when Bishop Samuel Cornish asked Darren, are there any Mexicans on Bakers Bay? Darren said no. Next question, is the government of the Bahamas planning on bringing Mexican into Abaco while the people of Abaco need employment? Darren Hetfield said in the church that no, the government is not in negotiation to bring no Mexicans into Abaco while he is the Minister of Foreign Affairs. That was a lie. He knew it. He knew when the deal was struck, because as Minister of Foreign Affairs, you have to negotiate with the Mexican Foreign Affairs to bring these in under the guidance of the 2 doctors, Dr. Livingston Marshall, that said that Bahamians are not worthy of working like Mexicans. We, the Bahamians, is not worthy of working in Bakers Bay to do what the Mexicans are prepared to do. Well, I want this to fall on Dr. Livingston Marshall's head. The Bahamians didn't have COVID-19. The people that have COVID-19 and allowed to stay on Bakers Bay to date are the Mexicans. They are still on Bakers Bay. Whenever they found out that there is a Bahamian, a black Negro that has COVID-19, they are marched off Bakers Bay, never to come back. But they didn't send the Mexicans back to Mexico. They have COVID-19 and they are still on Bakers Bay with the 25, 30 knot wind blowing COVID-19 onto the Bahamian workers' clothes, body, inhaling, because ain't no way doing construction you could stay with that mask on you all day. So every Bahamian that go to Bakers Bay after the last 3 weeks, knowing that there are over 40 cases of COVID-19 amongst the Mexicans, surely Abaco's in trouble. Because the workers of Bakers Bay live from Sandy Point to Crown Haven. That's 120 miles of carrying COVID-19 every day. And I predict if this lousy F&M government were to do testing, random testing of the workers on Bakers Bay and Abaconians, there'll be over 400. I myself may have COVID-19. I went to try to get tested. They told me, go on www.com on the internet and push www.dumb-FNM government, and then when the dumb F&M government decide to test you, then bing, you will know. But until the dumb F&M government get their act together and have somebody at the clinic that can test you for COVID-19, we are all walking, ticking COVID-19 bombs. Because the bombs in the F&M don't give a hell about Abaconians. This is why Kai Mills want to be a member of parliament. Darren Henfield has not addressed it. James Albury has not addressed this vexing situation. If Kai Mills was your member of parliament, and I heard that the Mexicans had COVID-19 on Bakers Bay, the government only reported 9. Now we up to 30. They're not telling you who these 30 are. It's a big secret. Why is it a big secret? Why can't people know who has COVID-19? That when they see these people, when they're not supposed to be locked down, they can sound the alarm. People that has COVID-19 and know that they have COVID-19 is not quarantined in Abaco. They're walking up and down trying to kill everybody because the government hasn't made it mandatory to have contact tracing and make it mandatory for somebody to check on these people that ought to be locked down. They're coming in Maxwell's and other places and infecting all of Abaco. So when we get the numbers, 600 will be a joke. All because of this waitlist F&M government, that waitlist Dr. Livingston Marshall that brought these Mexicans in. We are all doomed. And the thing is, why couldn't the Prime Minister shut Bakers Bay down for 2 weeks when they found out the first 9 had COVID-19? Ain't like no tourists coming to Bakers Bay. Oh, I forgot. They don't make no money unless the COVID-19 ship that owned by Brent Simonet and the Prime Minister sailed. So we are all doomed because of the illegal, ill-gotten money that the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and Brent Simonet continue to get, because the boat has to sail for them to get money. And as the boat sail, the escalation of COVID-19 is spreading all over Abaco. Kai Mills was your MP. I would have shut the key down immediately for 2 weeks and separate the ones that have it and remove them out of the Bahamas. This is a Karen MP. This is what Kai Mills would have done. This is what Darren Henfield should have been doing, because he signed on to bring COVID-19. As the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Darren is totally responsible for COVID-19 in Bakers Bay and indeed Abaco. Kai case. That's why I'm here on WCAY. Let you know that Abaco is about to explode with the cases of COVID-19, and the government could have shut it down, and they refuse to shut it down because their greed of the money that they're collecting from Bakers Bay. Kai case. That's why he's here.